Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Tom Johnson begins now.
Good evening. First tonight, a rise in COVID case numbers and hospital admissions have forced Tasmania's Public Health Director to raise the level of risk in the state. It means there's increased concern for vulnerable community groups as they navigate exposure to the virus.
Suffering multiple heart attacks and strokes in his lifetime, amputee Tim Marks is more susceptible to the deadly downfalls of COVID-19.
It's a very scary situation because you just don't know that the next person you're walking past in the street has COVID. My health's up and down every day. I don't know whether I'm going to have a good day or a bad day.
He makes potentially life-saving decisions every day just to protect his health.
You choose where you want to go, how long you want to be out, and only go out because you have to. It makes us stay at home a lot more. I stay at home as much as possible.
In the lead up to Christmas, Tasmanians are facing an increased COVID risk, with the Department of Health changing the status from low to moderate today.
We're asking people to take precautions when they're visiting people who are vulnerable to this disease. We've taken our advice from Public Health the whole way through this pandemic, and it's served us well and will continue to do so.
In the week to November 19, new infections averaged around 300 per day, but that's now jumped to around 400 in the most recent reporting week.
There has been no effective change at all to measures to reduce the spread of COVID transmission in the community. Where is the Premier?
The pressure only continues to mount on healthcare staff who are being left to deal with the repercussions of outbreaks in the state's hospitals.
The problem is this is not going to be the last escalation either, and staff are just very concerned because of the recruitment and retention issues.
Public Health Director Mark Veach has noted workplaces will see more staff absences as the move to moderate means the virus is circulating widely in the community.
Staff just feel that this is never going to end. There's no light at the end of the tunnel.
Grace Evans, 7 Tasmania News.
Meanwhile, Tasmania has recorded its third case of meningococcal. A 24-year-old man from the state's north is in hospital receiving treatment. Public Health says the strain was serogroup B and is reminding people to remain mindful of the disease. Tasmanians have turned out in force to support the push for a dedicated Human Rights Act designed to improve social outcomes. Advocates took to the steps of Parliament today to make their position known. Unlike many other jurisdictions, the legislation does not exist in the state.
We have a responsibility to allow for the continuation of life through the environment and to use it to better the lives of people now and into the future.
My people are shamed. My people are discriminated against. My people suffer at the brunt of the lack of a Human Rights Act.
The Legislative Council voted on Tuesday to support progressing the Act, but the government will now need to consider whether it commences the process. It's been revealed Hobart's median house price has grown a whopping 269% in the last 20 years. A new Real Estate Institute report measured home values and rental price growth over the 2 decades, finding Tasmania's capital experienced the largest spike across the nation. The city also remained the market leader for unit values, which surged by 277% in what experts have described as staggering. Tasmania's vibrant events sector is set to soar, with the state government announcing the next round of funding of a fundamental grant program. Party in the Paddock, Freycinet Challenge, King Island Open Golf and Christmas in July are just some of the 27 festivals from around the state to receive financial support through the event's marketing program.
These grants aren't about operational subsidies, they're about promoting the events themselves, and so the applicants had to prove that they could use the money between $5,000 and $10,000 with 2 different tiers of funding to promote their event and increase intrastate and interstate visitations.
$214,000 has been committed to help local events extend their marketing strategy. The tins were rattling at a Kingston hardware store this morning to raise funds for pooches in need of a new family. The Dogs Homes of Tasmania was out on the streets for its annual Christmas appeal. Actress Lisa Gormley and her ambassador dog Sasha among those collecting. The charity cares for around 3,000 lost and abandoned canines each year, a figure only getting bigger as COVID restrictions end.
But unfortunately, people's jobs and commitments are now coming back in post-COVID, and there are a lot of dogs getting surrendered because there's just not enough time.
Donations can still be made through the organisation's website. The tale of a crime-fighting, sleuthing terrier has come to life, bouncing off the pages of a new book. Two Tasmanians with a special bond have released their first ever children's story, inspired by a friendly family pet.
A mother-daughter duo have taken their talents to the page, collaborating on a special story.
It's really exciting. Mum and I have dreamed about doing a book together for a while.
I still can't quite believe it, to be honest.
Publishing their first children's book together, titled Undercover Coco, The Pine, the Crime and the Mystery Footprint.
The story was inspired by my dog Coco. We were walking on my property and I noticed a damaged tree, and she was sniffing around the base and it looked like she was trying to figure out what had happened, and so I thought that would make an interesting children's story.
The Tasmanian tale drawing many parallels to real life.
I'm a professional investigator, so while it might be a departure from author, I think the elements of the story very much reflect what I do each day, which is a search for the truth and looking for clues, as Coco does in the book.
Coco goes underwater with snorkel on, and there's a little submarine with a couple of other little characters under there watching her. And I got that idea. I was sitting on a hill watching my husband trying to catch a trout in a pond.
The story has been years in the making, but is now in bookstores around the state.
Really excited to have another local production. Beautifully illustrated book that it is, and it's a wonderful gift for Christmas.
Signing on for a sequel, the mother and daughter are now working on Coco's next adventure, featuring some new furry friends. McKenna Bailey, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmania's most creative Lego builders have put their work on show at one of the state's biggest expos. Adults and children enjoying more than 20 displays at Power of the Bricks. From space shuttles to Christmas favourites through to engineering marvels, many of the creations took months to construct, organisers hoping to pass down their love of Lego to the next generation.
That's what it's all about, inspiration. And that's why we encourage lots of photos and videos. We chat to the public and all that, show them where to buy Lego pieces.
The event will finish up tomorrow afternoon at the Kingston Community Hub. Tasmania has a new world champion, with Rob Razor Wilkinson taking out the Professional Fighters League Championship in New York. He took just 2 rounds to defeat his Russian opponent and become the first Aussie world champion in the competition's history. And a warning though, the following story is graphic.
Years of hard work and training all coming down to 25 minutes worth of fighting. Rob Wilkinson was in the fight of his life, but faced a tough challenge from Omari Akhmedov, the experienced Dagestani landing the first blow early on, but the Razor was landing some of his own, slicing through his opponent's defence.
Hard, getting it back hard. Oh, that's landed. Wilkinson pulls his way into top position.
Just before the first bell, the Hobashian landed a telling blow. Akhmedov surviving, but only just. The pressure right on him as Wilkinson upped the ante in the second round. He was on top literally and figuratively, with the end in sight.
I hope you bought a pay-per-view. You better have bought a pay-per-view.
Akhmedov was forced into running repairs to stem the bleeding, but he couldn't stem Wilkinson.
Back there. Hand left.
That late onslaught the last straw, with the referee calling the bout off. Wilkinson suddenly a world champion, sending him and his Hobart support team into raptures. A 10-year dream finally becoming a reality.
A lot of work behind the scenes to get here, but it's come quickly. 8 months, signed with the PFL, and I'm a world champion, baby!
He's also seen his finances boosted, taking home a cool $1 million for his efforts. John Hunt, 7 Tasmania News.
Well done, Razor. Meanwhile, Tasmania's Sheffield Shield clash at the MCG will go down to the wire after Victoria Victoria's tail wagged on day 3. Resuming at 7 for 162, Sam Elliott and Sam Harper frustrated the Tigers in an 84-run partnership for the 8th wicket. Spinner John Holland inflicted further damage with a blistering 55 from 50 balls as their lead grew beyond 200.
Oh, what a shot! What a shot! If you don't mind, 3 in a row, and that's the best of the lot.
Set 238 to win, the Tigers lost Tim Ward for 20, while Caleb Jewell made just 6 before edging 1 to first slip. And when Matthew Wade was out for 35, Tasmania was in trouble, 3 for 63.
With him, he's edging and he's caught. Max Short's caught him at second slip, and the big wicket of Wade has fallen.
Jordan Silk and Ben McDermott steadied the ship with a 77-run partnership. Tasmania will resume tomorrow on 4 for 151. The Jack Jumpers are just over an hour away from hitting the floor at John Cain Arena, where they'll face Melbourne United. It's a crucial road game, looking to bring home their 6th win of the year. Milton Doyle and Jared Weeks are back in the lineup as Matt Kenyon and Sam McDaniel sit out the contest, both remaining sidelined due to injury. The Kookaburras and India have faced off in Adelaide for the first of a 5-test series. The two powerhouses of hockey haven't met since Australia claimed gold in the Commonwealth Games. Lockie Sharp made an impressive comeback to the sport, marking Australia's first goal of the game.
Has Lockie Sharp working hard for him. Can have the shot. Oh, Lockie Sharp with an absolute scorcher.
The Kookaburras soared, claiming a 1-goal victory in an overtime penalty. Eddie Ockenden also opened the series, playing his 399th game. He's in fine form to reach the big 400 tomorrow. And from Sprayton to Sheffield, cyclists endured short but brutal climbs in Stage 3 of the Tour of Tasmania. Coined the best stage in the Tour's rich history, riders raced for 78 kilometres with fast, technical descents, seeing the peloton spread out to avoid crashing. Reece Robotham was the men's stage winner, saying it was one of the best days he's had on the tour, while Justine Barrow dominated the women's stage 2.
Good evening. 20 in Launceston today, Hobart 18, 17 across Burnie and Devonport. 22 was the state's top in Strawn, Low Head Grove 17 and 16 in Lyowini. On the close-up shows extensive middle and high-level cloud over Tasmania. Further out, a cloud band associated with a trough extends over South Australia, while thunderstorm activity is seen over Central Australia. Tomorrow, a trough and cold front crossing Tasmania is seen, and it is also moving to the east. Northerly winds tomorrow 20 to 30 knots, swells up to 4 metres in the west and south and below 1 metre in the north. A gale warning is current for the southwest coast and a strong wind warning across the central north, Banks Strait, Franklin Sound, Flinders Island east coast and the central west coast. Tomorrow's forecast now, Hobart 17, a shower or 2 in Richmond, Ooze 16. In the north, Launceston 19, partly cloudy in Devonport, a shower or 2 in Deloraine. Burnie tomorrow, a possible shower, 15 across Strawn and Curry. 20 about St Helens and Swansea, and Whitemark 17. The UV forecast is very high 9s across the state. Looking ahead to the 3-day forecast now, Monday showers about the west extending statewide during the day, Tuesday showers about the west and far south, and Wednesday showers across the west and far south, mostly fine elsewhere. Capital cities 27 and sunny in Perth tomorrow, a shower or 2 in Adelaide and 31 in Cairns. And currently Hobart 18 and cloudy, Launceston 17 and Devonport 14 and cloudy. That's all in weather, Tom.
And that's the way it is this Saturday night. Louise will be back with you tomorrow. From me, it's good night.